Hi there guys, Sam here. You join me once again in the Golf R for another video. Just to talk a little bit around the tyre choice that I kind of have to choose from in my Golf R. You know, sort of coming up to 22,000 miles. You know, in the next sort of few thousand miles, next few months, it's something that I'm going to want to do. And it's just a little video around that really. So I'll get straight into it really. First of all, back in the Golf R, it's been a pleasure as always. You know, it's been a great drive as I'm sure some of you might have seen from my other videos. If you're not subscribed, please do. You know, I've got a lot of content on this Golf R. I've had it for 2 and a bit years now. I've done just over 20,000 miles in the car, and it's been fantastic. And one thing that's kind of come up recently is the need to eventually change the tyres. You know, one thing I want to stress: tyre wear on this car is absolutely fantastic. You know, it does depend how you drive the car. Obviously, it's a Golf R. You could absolutely, if you absolutely give it everything it's got, everywhere you go, you know, you're going to wear through the tyres pretty quick, fronts before rears. But actually, the wear rate is actually quite even. My previous experience of other cars that I've had, they've all been front-wheel drive cars. My previous car was a 200 brake horsepower Fiesta ST Mark 7. I was getting through the fronts after about sort of 17,000 miles. So in my ownership, I replaced 2 sets of fronts. I did just under 40,000 miles in that car. So it was quite a fast wear rate. Bear in mind I'm on 22,000 miles on the car and it's still got life left in it. Wear rate is really, really good, and that's because it distributes it a little bit better to the back, being 4-wheel drive. Maybe a little bit around the balance of the car, I'm not too sure. You know, it's been really good, and it's something that's important to me in terms of the ownership of the car. You know, makes it more cost effective. Yeah, and it just saves a bit of hassle really as well, doesn't it? So my fronts have probably got another few thousand miles left. The rears have probably got quite a lot more than that. I haven't rotated the tyres or anything like that, rears to front, so I probably missed the boat on that one. As if out of nowhere, I've recently bought the latest copy of Evo. It's a great read if you haven't got it. This is the October 2019 edition. I'm filming this in September, so that's when they do it. And part of that, they had a really good tyre test. It was a 2019 tyre test that they do once a year. And, you know, I just happened to come across it, and I was sort of like, well, let the right people do a proper comprehensive test, and that can actually help me out in my decision. I'll also ask a lot on your help as well. You know, a big part of my channel, again, as I do say in other videos, is that community feel. Love you guys to get involved in the comments, to, you know, put your input in as well, your experience, and I'll do a little vote at the end of this to see, you know, what you guys would recommend. But anyway, to go on to a little bit of what I've found out, they essentially did a tyre test, and the car that they used was a Golf GTI, which seems to be the everyday car for everything really. And the good thing was that car was on 18-inch wheels, which I have 18-inch wheels, 18-inch Cadiz wheels, and it's obviously the exact right size for my Golf R, so it's probably the perfect test to do. Obviously being front-wheel drive, you could kind of think might be some discrepancies, but overall it's a really good comparison test. I won't bore you with all the results, and I would recommend getting the actual magazine because it is a really good read in general. But all in all, it's sort of made me come down to about a choice of kind of 3 tyres, I would say. And that's just a mixture of nothing to do with the magazine and just my kind of thinking, and also my own sort of personal preference, as well as information that they've taken from the test. So one of the tyres, and this is the one that I kind of talk about quite a lot, that I kind of want to go to, is the Michelin Pilot Sport 4s. Just a great tyre. It was rated really, really highly in here. It was actually rated 2nd. Spoiler alert if you did want to get this, because I'm going to end up telling you the results of the top 3. And that tyre, out of every single sort of test, was always sort of in like the top sort of 2 or 3. It never sort of fell below. It was always sort of that consistent tyre. And that's kind of what you want. It's a good sporty car, you know, and that's a sporty tyre. But it's also got the road manners that you kind of want on a daily commute, which is what I use this for. You know, I have no intention of taking it on track or anything like that. And that's kind of a tyre I've been looking at for the last few years, and it seems to be still top of the class today. So that's one of the ones that I'll put on the list, and, you know, let me know your thoughts on that as well. The other option I have is going for the factory tyres. So Bridgestone Potenzas, which are on here, you know, nothing really wrong with them. They're not massively highly rated in terms of like their efficiency rating, and, you know, people don't really rant and rave about them, but it's what the car comes with as standard. you know, I could potentially just replace the front 2 tyres and then, you know, be done with it. That is another option to do, probably not my favourite option, but again, it's something to choose. The third option I have is something that I didn't think of before actually reading this book, and I kind of stayed away from it because first of all I thought it was on a 19-inch rim or above, and I hadn't really seen too much reviews about it. It was quite hidden, really, certainly from my vision, and that's actually the Pirelli P0. And that actually won the test, and it won it quite comprehensively actually. You know, the Michelin Pilot Sport 4 never topped the charts on anything. This topped the charts so many times, only falling down on a bit of the rolling resistance actually, which again is quite interesting. But it seems really top of the class. They absolutely loved it, and they did plenty of tests, you know, aquaplaning tests. They did it all for everything, you know, lap time tests, all these kind of things, and they tested it between another sort of 7 manufacturers, you know, decent tyres, and it won out of them all, and that's a big thing. And you know, it's actually a little bit cheaper as well than the Pilot Sport 4 somehow. I normally get my car tyres off Black Circle, so I'll have to check it exactly on there, but I think it's about £5 a tyre less, around about that. All in all, if I got a full set of tyres, it's likely to cost me around sort of £400, which is kind of expected really. I know if you have a 19-inch, if you had one of the Pretorias, you're going to be paying a little bit more because those tyres are just a little bit more expensive. So that's kind of my idea on sort of the budget side of things, around sort of £400 for a full set. That's kind of my choice of 3. The only other option that I'll kind of put up there is just like an other. If you guys have another sort of suggestion, you know, put it in the comments. You know, I'll certainly look into it and have a little think. You know, this isn't something I'm going to be doing sort of in the next few weeks. This is the next few months. Certainly before it gets to like the winter months, when having a little bit less tread on the front wheels is probably not the best idea. You know, I'm well above sort of legal limits, but it's something I do want to get done. And I do want to try it out in the car. You know, I want to see how much it changes it. You know, I've been driving it for quite a while. Will it make that much of a difference? You know, fingers crossed it will. So that's really most of the video really. I just wanted to go on to that, and I wanted to kind of bring you guys into it as well. And so yeah, so top left hand corner, I'll just put a little vote on what tyres do you think I should get to go on the Golf R. You know, is it going to be the Pirelli P0s, this, again 18-inch wheel size as well, the Michelin Pilot Sport 4, the standard Bridgestone Potenza tyres, or an other one, which is basically something that I haven't heard of, or maybe I have heard of, that you think is quite good in your Golf R. Maybe you've tested it out yourself, or maybe you'd just like me to test it out potentially. Yeah, so that's it. A little bit of tyre talk. You know, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. You know, give it a like if you've enjoyed this video, and you know, subscribe. I've got plenty more content on my Golf R. Absolutely loving it. A lot more miles, as I've sort of mentioned in my last video, which is good. The car's been faultless. I generally don't have anything bad to say about it. It's interesting now, despite the fact that we're only sort of in early September, it's starting to get sort of like colder in the mornings. I tend to leave quite early, and obviously you've got cold tyres. You start to notice that actually four-wheel drive does help. It does just sort of pull you around, particularly until everything gets up to speed, and you know, I absolutely love it. If you want to watch my last video, that'll be in the top left hand corner. If you want to watch a video that I think you would be interested in, that'll be sort of in the bottom right hand corner over there. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, please do, and it's sort of somewhere over here. But thanks very much for watching. Have a great rest of your day, great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you again next time. Cheers guys.